Welcome back, VA user. In today's session, we are going to learn how to set up the charges into the VA system. To set up the charges into the VA system, there is a window called charges, and in that particular window, we would be able to define the charge. Now, what's basically the charges? In terms of the financials, charges are nothing but these are the expense codes. So let's see the formal definition of the charges. The charges are generally expenses incurred by the organization like fuel charges, freight charges, custom charges, vehicle expenses. So all these are known as charges. Into the VA system, you can generate all the account type codes as charge as per the requirement. You can create a customer prepayment and able to link the liability code. While in case of the employee prepayment, then you can link the asset code. It all depends based on the requirement in the project which kind of charges to be configured into the system. So these are basically the charges. Now how to configure these charges into the VA system? Let's move on to the VA system and we'll see how to create the charges. So I'm at my landing page. I have logged in with the ABC admin. To create the charges, there are two ways into the VA system. The first way is you just need to create the charges manually, while the other way you would be able to automatically create the charges. To create the charges manually, you just need to open the charge window, click onto the charge window, click on new record, and let's say I want to create vehicle expenses or charges. So I will enter my name, I will enter a little description associated to this charge. If you want to print some description, then you would be able to enter the print description. The charge type you need to select as others. There are some other charges which are used into the HR and the payroll. Withholding category will take care withholding category into some other video where we'll showcase you how to set up the withholding and how the withholding works into the VA system. The text category you need to select from the drop down. If the charge has a fixed amount, you would be able to fix that amount at this charge master window. Now, if this charge belongs to the shipping charge, then this checkbox we need to check on. If this charge belongs to the advanced charge like employee prepayment, a vendor prepayment, or a customer prepayment, then you need to mark it as advanced charge. Price includes text refers that the prices contains the taxes as well when you are selecting the charges at the transactional window. The organization, you can select the respective organization if the charge refers to a respective organization. Otherwise, you would be able to select the star organization. It means that this charge is visible to the other legal entities as well. So save this. So once you save the charge, as a result, the system generates the accounting defaults from the accounting schema, which means the system copies all the ledger codes from the accounting schema or the accounting books. Now we need to update the ledger codes manually. So for the charge expense, my charge says that it is vehicle expenses. So I will select my vehicle expenses as expense charge and I will save this. Okay. The system also asks you about the charge revenue. You need to link the charge revenue because there are cases when you create a single charge, but it can be used in either way. One of the good example is basically the rent. Now the rent can be an income or can be an expense. So if you want to use such a kind of charges within the system where you want to create a single charge but can be used onto the AR and the AP side, in that case you need to define the charge revenue code as well. So I'm not defining here. I would define a single one as the expenses only. So let's say vehicle expenses and I will save this. There is a charge commitment is also system would ask you. If you have enabled the commitment, then commitment accounting, then you just need to link the charge commitment. I haven't enabled the charge commitment, so hence I'm not going to link anything at this particular place. Even I would be able to delete this. So that is how you would be able to configure the charges, and this is the way how you can generate the charges. You can either import the charges in one shot using the Excel import utility. I will explain the Excel import utility later on in some other video. Okay, so this is how you would be able to configure the charge manually. Now when the case comes that you want to generate the charges automatically from the chart of account, in that case you just need to search generate charges. So there is a form. On to the left side, the system will ask you the value or the name if you want to generate a new ledger code. So you would be able to create the new ledger code by using create new button. On to the right side, all the ledger codes which are available into the chart of account, you would be able to see all those ledger codes. Here the expense codes represents with this checkbox, whichever is marked as true are the expense codes into the chart of account. Let's suppose I want to create some charges, let's say interest expense, mortgage interest expense, then uninsured casualty loss. All these I want to create a charge in one shot. What I need to do, I just need to select all those chart of account, and I will say create charges from the accounts and say OK. So the system gives me the message that the charge created. Just close it and we'll move on to the charge, and I would be able to see all the charges automatically generated by the system. So you would be able to see that the system generates the charge in such a way. Now move on to the account default, and you would be able to see that the system copies the default code, and you just need to update this into the upcoming release of the VNI Advantage. The system will generate the charges from that particular form, and the system will link the relevant ledger code accordingly with the charges. So that is how you would be able to create the charges into the system. I hope this session would be useful for you and you would be able to configure the charges into the VA system. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.